Everybody, it's your boy Sin Sermon. Today we're going to take a look at my single target munitions DPS loadout. And single target, I felt like it was the best one to put out because single target DPS on bosses is what really sets you up at the top of that scoreboard. Let's get it. Alright, so here we are at the House of Legends. We're going to beat up on the sparring target today. But first, let's have a look at the build itself. So for weapon, you can use whatever you want. I use rifle just for the weapon tap if you want to throw it in there. And I use replenishing adapter because this loadout is very power heavy. And sometimes it's nice to get a little return if you need it. And you can hold that Y button down and just spam the machine gun and get you some power back. For the head mod, I run supercharged Neo Venom Boost. That's the supercharge we're going to run in this loadout. It's the best bang for your buck with munitions. For the neck mod, we're running Escalating Might. Always do that if you're a DPS. Simple enough. I run Berserker, which means what I'm about to show you is you can take a little damage in an alert, a raid, solo, whatever, and you can get a little bit of a boost when you start getting below 35% health. So this damage can actually be increased a little bit when you drop health with this Berserker back piece. For the chest, I run Penetrating Strikes. There's a couple options here you could run. I just use Penetrating Strikes because anytime you ignore defense and toughness, you're going to do more damage. It's like anti-armor. For the legs, I run Restorative Chain Gun. And if you're running munitions power, you're going to be using chain gun a lot. Restorative chain gun, why not? For the feet, I'm sorry. I use Tumbling Master just in case I need to get away from something. For hands, always want to run maximum damage. Your trinkets, you can. I wish I had the stronger one of these, the Sun God version, but working on that. You always want to have a damage trinket. You can actually replace this with your supply drop if you want. Doesn't really make much of a difference to me, but whatever. For your artifacts, you want Transformation card, you want Strategist card, and I know everybody gripes about Solar Amplifier, but I'm using it because I'm not losing damage over an opinion. Solar Amplifier is great for this loadout. It does a lot of damage, plus it sets up your burn, so you can't go wrong with that. But yeah, you want to go Trans, Strategist, Solar for the solo or for the single target loadout to take down those bosses. Quick look at the allies. You want to use Crypto with his heat vision. He burns enemies. He does a lot of damage. He's a rare ally, so he's easy to level up. You can't go wrong with this guy as your damage for a single target. Plus, he burns the enemies. With munitions, you definitely want to have that burn proc going, and why not get a little bit of extra? For your support ally, unfortunately, I highly recommend using Cyborg for the passive power recovery. This loadout and this power itself, I feel like is very power hungry, so I can't stress that enough. I would like to use Emperor Aquaman to get a little bit more damage, or to get the ally recharge cooldown. Until I figure out a way, for now, I'm going to use Cyborg. Or, you could use Batman from the Shadows. That's a pretty good one from this loadout. But for now, we're going to stick with Cyborg just to make sure that we're getting our power back. Because if you don't have no power, you can't do no superpowers and you can't do no damage. So we're going to play it safe. For support ally number 2, I run the Batman Who Laughs, the Toxic Finisher, or Toxic Encore, which hitting an enemy below 40% health with a finisher, arms your next finisher with a toxin bomb. This thing is awesome. I think a lot of people are overlooking it because they're running with luck of the draw. Don't get me wrong, luck of the draw, the second support ability or the first support ability is very good. It's great, and you can pump out some major DPS with it. But I kind of feel like when you get, the health boost, you're in a boss fight and you're getting the health boost, and it's, your munitions. You pick munitions because you want to kind of sit back and just, wreck stuff. I would rather have the guaranteed damage that Toxic Encore comes out with, and you'll see why hopefully whenever we start running the loadout here in just a minute. But if you want to run Luck of the Draw, by all means, it's fine. But with this loadout, we're running Small Package, which is a finisher, so it benefits very much from Toxic Encore. Just a quick look. I'm sitting at 181, 466, 181,466 might. Just so you got it. I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. For your, if your DPS might. Come on, people. No more Skittles mixed up rainbow things. For your base mods, might and all that too. Let's actually take a look at this rotation while we're talking about it. Amplified Heat Vision is what you want to run in your first slot to get that fire proc. Burns enemies, you know what it does. Small Package, that's our finisher. We're getting the boost from the Toxin Encore from the Batman Who Laughs. We're running with that, and it does great damage, especially when that boss hits that 35% health threshold. You just start melting. Chain Gun, remember we had Restorative Chain Gun as our mod piece for the legs, so you're getting some benefit from that. Plus this thing it's great, and it's one of the best powers in the loadout. You're running Mini Nuke. Mini Nuke is what drains your power. This thing has 53,244, 450, whatever you want to call it, power cost. So this is what drinks your power, but you get, the damage that you're doing with it. It's worth it, I feel like, to run Cyborg and pump this out. Robot Sidekick. Robot Sidekick's usually pretty good for single target. It's passive free damage pretty much once you pop him, and we're running Neo Venom Boost. And when you're running Neo Venom Boost, as your supercharge, it's all gravy. So your specs, I'm not spec'd anything into rifle. I don't need it. Super speed, 1 point into to going to go fast. That's it. You could spec into these if you wanted to. They're actually pretty useful, but I feel like I'd rather have them into my stat points. Iconic powers, you're going to need 3 of these. You're going to need Robot Sidekick, Neo Venom Boost, and Heat Vision. And I know a lot of people hate running Heat Vision, but I'm sorry, you're going to lose damage, point blank. I've tried, I'll talk about that in a second. Stat points, you want to be focused super powered, critical attack chance, critical attack damage, and put everything else in might and power. I always say if you're a DPS and you're not running Prec, I put everything else into health. If you have more skill points than me, I've got 333, but if you have all your DPS, might and power, and your crits maxed out, I always say go health, because the good old saying is a dead DPS does no DPS. So I'm working on those skill points. I've only been playing for about a year, a little over a year. So, but what I was saying about Solar Amp and Heat Vision is, I know a lot of people don't like to use it, but I have tried this single target with Quizlet. I've got Quizlet almost up to 180. Tried it with Grim. I got Grim at 200. I got EOG at 200, and I've tried them. I've tried different artifacts, different loadout order, this is the one that I've seen the most consistent big damage with. So keep that in mind. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. You could run Quizlet or Grim or EOG with this as your third slot to replace Solar, but this is what I've got the best results from. And if you run Grim, that sets up your burn, so you don't need heat vision. But that's another story for another day. All right, so let's get this running. I'm gonna do it first without any supercharge or allies or any of that good stuff. We're just gonna hit it straight with the loadout and see what we get. Now it takes a minute for that strategy card to kick in. So. Alright, now we're hitting almost 1.3 on our second. A lot of that really depends on minions, critical hits. We're gonna see some big numbers. Alright, there's that toxic encore kicking in. Look, there's almost 1.4. It's 1.39 single target. It's almost 1.4 mil single target. See, then you drop off. We'll make right back up to that. I think that's what they're going to drop. There we go. Back up. Alright. So let's go take a look at the numbers. It's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to constantly hit for over a mil. Every now and then you may have a small drop, like I think I had two. The 800,000 one that was our starter. That's expected. The 900,000, I think that's when I was blabbering too much. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty consistent between a mil and 1.2, almost 1.3. But that let's see here. That 1.3 mil, I mean, on a single target, 1.39 mil, that's almost 1.4 million. That's 139,000 per second damage. That's insane. But I mean, if you can get those crits to go, man, it's great. If you can get a couple extra hits in, you're gonna do the damage, you know. 1.2 is kind of what I say the average for this one is, but you can hit those really high numbers, and I love it. I think it's fun. The munitions power is very, you know, it's relaxed. You're not having to sweat. jump canceling and all this crap trying to do prec. Maybe I don't have the patience for prec, but prec is it's meta. But if you want a good strong DPS mite where you can run your rotation 1, 2, 3, 4, this is it. All right, so what we're gonna do, just for this last little bit, I'm gonna hit it with everything, and we're gonna see what the numbers do on a single target. All right, so there we go. I missed the first mini nuke, but it's okay. It still hit for 1.8 million, so I'm not gonna complain. Well, there's my munitions single target DPS. Make sure you guys comment below with any questions. If you're on Xbox and you're looking for a league, I'm the leader of the Dimensions League. Great group of people, good times. All right, y'all have a good one, and I'll catch you later.